people forget that a person who is a performer, actor, model, pro wrestler, dancer, whether ballet, hip hop, all those different things, they're creatives.
They're creative on the front side of the camera instead of behind the camera.
They're artists that use their body. They use their voice to create experiences that are memorable.
Just making these connections because people change, just like how you went from being in front of the camera to being more behind the camera. You never know. Everyone's kind of like similar industries still. Now we're able to connect in a different way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to 23 Journeys, a network for creatives. I am Thato Datsun with my lovely partner, Naomi.
We are back again.
And today we are doing a little talking about like our past. Me and you have a background in acting and modeling. So some of our listeners are in that realm because people forget that a person who is a performer, actor, model, pro wrestler, dancer, whether ballet, hip hop, all those different things, they're creatives. They're artists that use their body. They use their voice, to create experiences that are memorable. I mean, you look at famous actors like Denzel Washington. You have a couple of different favorites, like Julia Roberts and Sandra Bullock. You like those girls, but they have different ways of how they express themselves as creatives, and it helps tell a story, or it just helps get a message across and such.
They're creative on the front side of the camera instead of behind the camera. Creatives.
Yep. So navigating that world, we're going to share a little bit of our experience of how we were navigating that world, and maybe this may resonate with you, our listeners. I mean, the greatest victory that we gained from networking in this world is that we got married. So
we did the ultimate networking of life partners and business partners now.
Yep. So we so it all started where here we'll give you the two different sides of it. So on my side of everything, I had joined a photography group where they have photographers take pictures of models, and basically you got free pictures for your portfolio and whatnot. So it was free for the models and actors to join because they wanted to make sure they got people versus the photographers had to pay. So at that time, I was in front of the camera. I wasn't behind the camera. And I had joined, and I had done a couple of different sessions with this group. Well, at one point, I started getting busy with other stuff because I was, trying to pursue different things. I was actually learning stand-up comedy. I was doing all different things, and I stopped going to these events. Well, during that time I had stopped going, Naomi started going to these events.
Yeah, because I had just moved back into the area. I had been doing some modeling and acting when I was back out in Hawaii, and also then when I moved back, I had to get established with the current group that's around here. So I was like, okay. I started looking up like modeling and photography in Philadelphia, and I started joining these groups to build up my portfolio and connections then for around this area, because I had connections with photographers out in Hawaii, but then when I moved out here, I didn't have photographer connections around here, and also I wanted to build up the area. I didn't really know places to shoot, to go to model, different acting groups and all, so I started joining them, and when I did join them, you weren't around, so I was going to these for a couple months now, and I had never met you because obviously you weren't around then because you said you stopped going to them. And I was meeting different photographers, different models and all, and just building up my portfolio. And then there was this one that they were like, we needed some more girls and everything.
Guys need guys and girls.
Yeah, so I brought my friend with me and all, and then I showed up at this
romance novel.
Yeah, it was a romance novel cover shoot and all. And in the back of your mind, whenever you go to these things, you're like, oh, is there going to be like cute guys here? Or are there going to be like people that I can vibe with and all? Like, I mean, that's the most awkward thing is you show up for a romance novel cover shoot. And it was a photo shoot. It was teaching too. So it's like you had to hold these poses while they're teaching some of these photographers how to capture that style of thing. So here you are meeting people for the first time in intimate type poses and all. And so that was, and I show up and there weren't as many guys at first because you weren't even there at first. There were more girls than guys. So at first we were doing like a couple, like it would be like maybe 3 girls and 1 guy. Like we did like some group shots and all.
Scandalous.
As some people were starting to come in, and more guys were showing up. And then you came walking in and all because you were late to the event.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably late. But do you want me to give my?
Sure, you can give them your your review. Well, here's what I say. I came in and I was super smooth and suave, and I was, all right, ladies, the prince has arrived.
Oh, brother. So at first he came in and I did turn to my friend, which is the joke because I turned to my friend and I said, I called dibs on shooting with that guy when he came in because I thought he was really cute. And then I actually used that in our wedding vows when I called dibs on you again in front of all of our family. But I called dibs, but then I had to go shoot with somebody else. You got pulled in a different direction to go shoot with this other shot. And when I came back, you're doing a shoot and you just had sunglasses on. You were doing this pose and you just look so cocky. I was just like, oh, here's another one of these guys and stuff. And like I completely blew you out the window.
I was him.
I was like, nah, and whatnot. But then as the day went on, we started shooting. I was like, okay, he's pretty cool and all. Like, we were cracking some jokes. And then there was another guy at the shoot that I was trying to get away from that was, like, really creepy on me and, like, just close. And I was just trying to get away. So I kept, like, gravitating towards you. But at the time, the joke was that you were trying to hit on another model who was married, but you didn't know that at the time and all. But I knew that she was married. So I didn't think anything of inserting myself into these conversations of trying to get away from this other guy. And then we just started kicking it and all. But
yeah, that was a fun experience. And we have a photo together of our first time meeting. I mean, not everybody has a professional photography photo of the first day they meet the person that they get married to.
Yeah.
Unless it's certain situations, but that's like very, very rare.
And that photographer asks, like, he came up from the shoot. He's like, wait, are you guys already a couple and stuff? And we're like, no, we've never met before. He's like, you guys look like you're a real couple because we just had that chemistry and all on screen and it just felt natural. And all, and then your car was broken into that same day.
Oh, yeah.
But just all that went down and like, so we networked because then we were like, oh, well, he was a lot of fun. I want to shoot with him again and all. But then we started dating outside of it and then also connected then professionally then with the modeling and the acting and all.
Well, it made it easier for us to do different type of shoots because now, hey, we're a couple that can do these couple shoots. You know, we had your one friend who was a photographer and she used us for her portfolio. Like she used us for, it wasn't our real engagement, it was our fake engagement pictures, but we did stuff for her. And I love those pictures. You know, I think back, those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're some of my favorite shots. And because of that is then I always said like, whoever I marry in the future, I want you to shoot me because she just captured me so well and all. And that was because she needed somebody to help, a couple to help with her engagement shoot so she could push that out, that she's pushing engagements. And then here I am, I was like, wow, she shot me really well. I don't know if this is going to work out between me and him, but down the road, whoever I get married to, I want her to shoot my wedding and all. And she did end up shooting our wedding when we got married down the line.
Yeah. So, and it's that just being there. It's an event. We talked, we had fun, we were personable. You know, it doesn't always happen like that. I'm going to put it out there. It doesn't always happen like that, that you're going to go to an event, you're going to meet somebody, and you just start dating. Because a lot of times people will go to these events and they're just going there just to pick up chicks.
Like the person I was trying to get away from.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, and obviously it's fine if you find somebody and you two click and you date. I have plenty of friends who have been actors and actresses that met on set and they're married and it works. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you can't just come in there going like, hey, what's up, girl? I'm trying to get like, no, that's not cool. Like women don't like that. You know, guys, when you're networking out there, remember, we're being professional. we're all professionals here. We're here to have fun and learn. Obviously, if you want to talk with somebody, you want to get to know them, be cordial. Don't be a creep. Don't be like all up on people. Like if you're doing the modeling and everything, don't be touching people unnecessarily, because that can send off the wrong signals and that could get you into a lot of issues and such. So, but with that, you brought in the beginning, you talked about how you were looking to network with other photographers, and when networking with as a model or an actor, networking with like a photographer or a person who's a videographer that is making short films, like a filmmaker and such. The reason you do that, obviously, you need to be in front of a camera so people can see you. We've had filmmakers on here talking about that. The people that he likes to work with he likes to work with people that he knows and such. So building a relationship with these photographers and videographers is great because, say for instance, I've actually done this before. I've been hired for jobs where I had to make a commercial. Who do I hit up? I've hit up the models and the actors that I've worked with on portfolio projects, and then we all get paid. And it's just really that simple. And you're not just obviously you're not just role players. You're not just I'm an actor, he's a director. You're Thato who's acting or Thato who's the director, but you're becoming friends or business associates and everything, because in all different industries, this is how referrals. You're more likely to land another gig if somebody refers you to it.
Even if you think back to the same exact shoot that we met at, there was another model there. He goes by Pat King, and he was in modeling. He then transferred into acting, did a lot of stage. He toured the U.S. and all with some different acting gigs and all. But I had stayed in contact with him too. And then he got into voice acting and all. So then when you had a project that needed voice acting, I remember that he did voice acting because I see him online all the time posting his stuff and all. So then you guys had gotten connected and stuff in that aspect. So it's like just making these connections because people change, just like how you went from being in front of the camera to being more behind the camera and all. So you never know, like everyone's kind of like similar industries still, but now we're able to connect in a different way.
Yeah. The different photographers and also like different videographers, they bring out different styles and everything. So if you're a model or an actor that needs to, for instance, like say somebody like wants to be more of like a dark and grungy type model and whatnot, you're probably not going to network with a wedding photographer, unless, and again, correction, you could if a wedding photographer is trying to market to those kind of like clientele. But, you're going to more try to find a photographer that likes to do that kind of dark and grungy type work. So that way your portfolio can reflect those kind of things. But if you're like, oh, I want to be more pinup or I want to be more beauty, then you would connect with that kind of photographer on that. And then even too, like, whether guys and girls in this one, connecting with makeup artists is important for these shoots too. Definitely, I always say if you're working with a makeup artist, I mean, if they're willing to donate their time and everything, that's great, but they have product that they got to cover. So when you're working with them, and say for instance, even if it's like a free project that you're all working together, just kind of help them cover their like I just say it like a kind of collaboration, try to cover their material costs and stuff. But if they're like, hey, don't worry about it, that's cool.
I also felt like too, like with makeup artists and all, like even if I was at a photo shoot and they were booked and they were doing the makeup and stuff, I still felt it was good to tip them too. And all, because even though I wasn't paying them to have to be there to do my makeup, they were booked there to do my makeup, but they were still applying, like you said, all their product on me and everything, and they made me look good and all. And you get to know the makeup artist too, because sometimes you'll come back on the same shoot again, and you're like, wow, they did amazing on my makeup last time. There might be a couple makeup artists, but you're like, no, I want to go to that one and all, because she does me really well and all. So
yeah. The hair and makeup people, they can make or break you.
Oh yeah, yep.
I can get whatever camera angle I want, but if they look like a clown, you looking like a clown, man. When doing it, when you're networking all these people, I always tell people this goes back to niching down. What I say in the beginning, anybody in the beginning, try different stuff. Like, hey, maybe I try a little pinup. Maybe I do a little like story type. Maybe I'll do a little like dark and grungy and stuff. And then see like, okay, well, how do I look in these? Okay, I don't really like how I look in these ones, but I like how I look in these ones. Then once you do that, then zero in and focus on that area and find photographers or filmmakers that focus on that area. So that way you're constantly building that portfolio for that kind of look. So when you're looking for bookings, because now you're using this material on your social media, and this becomes basically your online booking agent. You know, people will find, I mean, I find all different types of actors and performers. I mean, some of my favorite people to follow are just, they just make funny videos online and they've booked major deals from different corporations as their sponsors, or they've even gotten into big movies and everything. So there's so many ways to really do it. You just have to find the right team to get it, because you can film yourself for so long, but as an actor or model, I mean, you need somebody else to get that picture.
And it's good too you can even have a couple teams, because like you might, so for instance with me, like when I was doing modeling, I was a lot more of I like to smile. Like people would book me for my smile, for my happiness, all that and everything. So my serious look wasn't as good. But I always was the smile, like the person next door, like all that in the modeling side. Acting side, I was never the bubbly, smiley person. I always played the bad guys. I always played like the evil person and all, because that's just what came out of me more naturally, acting and all. So it's like I had two different groups then of like people that I would go to then for the styles and all. So
she said, say hello to the bad guy.
I think it's just fun because it's like when you're acting, you get to bring out that whole other character, versus then when I feel like when I was modeling, more of me was coming out.
Yeah.
More of the bubbly, smiley person.
That's the fun part about acting, because I love being able to bring out a version of myself that I don't normally people get to see. You know, I did a project with friends where I played this psycho killer, like ex-military assassin, and then my team, we all broke up and everything, and that was fun. It was just like I just played. It wasn't me, but the thing is like me imagining and focusing on this character. It was a lot easier for me to concentrate on that versus me like, okay, be yourself. Okay, what part of Thato do I want to be like?
But yeah, there's so many ways to network as actors and all, because even though you're in front of the screen, you're going to network with the other models, network with the other actors, network with the people behind the cameras, network. You're not going to network necessarily as much with the venues on that side of the camera, because you more want the gigs and you don't know if like the photographers and all that you're doing are ever going to come back to that venue and all. But there's definitely all like script writers, like all different people that you can still network with being in front of the camera. And like we said, the makeup artists, hairstylists, they're huge. Costume designers are a big one and all, to help with that. Yeah.
So different ways to network. We're going to go on the acting side. So different ways for people to network. I always recommend going to film festivals. If you have the time, go to film festivals, watch some films, meet the directors, meet other actors, just chit chat, talk. You know, sometimes you can depending on how the conversation goes, you'd be like, "Hey, I'm also an actor," whatever. But you have to approach it a different way. You have to approach it in a way that doesn't come off like please use me, like a pick me attitude. Because a lot of times somebody will make a film and people love it, and then the first thing that starts happening, use me in your next film, you know, is more or less like at that point, I always recommend just go more of the like, hey, let's slowly build a relationship. Hey, I love your work. They just want to let you know, like, I'm also an actor too, but can I get you on LinkedIn? And then now you two are on LinkedIn. Now you can just slowly build that rapport and everything. Maybe set up an appointment later on and such. If the situation calls for it, you can go for the more direct approach. I just try to avoid that because it's just too salesy. It's just more just like, oh, well, you should use me because I'm Thato Datsun. I've trained at Juilliard. I've traveled all over the world, Scotland, Africa.
Plus, sometimes
everywhere.
when you're meeting at certain events, you might only have that 30 seconds for your like elevator pitch, and also the best thing to do is to get that contact to connect for a later time than to talk more in depth should the situation ever arise that would call for you to like speak more about your talents and all at that point.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite directors, Robert Rodriguez, he did the Spy Kids, and he would use the same type of people like Danny Trejo constantly. I mean, Antonio Banderas. Like he would use the same actors and actresses. And one, these people were phenomenal actors, but two, they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and they work well together. Just like how on the other episode we were talking about how the wedding industry refers based off of people that they've worked well with. Same thing might be on this side with the actors and models, but they refer then who they work well with the directors and all.
Yeah. And using social media as your agent, you know, you have all this material and you're posting it, you know, obviously don't over post, but don't under post. You want to constantly just keep it consistent. You know, if you have enough material where you can post like every couple of days, like I think what they say is like bare minimum you want to do once a week. And then a decent amount of posting is 3 times a week. And then the optimal, like best, obviously, is every day. But, you know, the only way to do that is if you know, make sure you either have scheduling software and stuff, because it's tough to really sit there and like think of captions and everything. But you're using that as a way to kind of like stay in front of people too. So now you've made this contact with this this director or these photographers and such. You can use other projects that you've done with people to be like, just to let them know like, hey, you're a director. Oh, hey, Naomi, great seeing you online. I just want to show you, I just did this project with Joey over here. Check it out. Would love to get your opinion, what you thought of how we did it. You know, now you're getting another person who's in the field, like trying to get their opinion. You know, more than likely they'll feel a little flattered, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll check it out. And they see it, oh, they did pretty good. Then that could lead into them saying like, hey, you know what? I have a project coming up. I want you to come on. We're going to have a budget together, and we want to get you on board as so-and-so on the project. So use your online platform as a way to maintain that contact, and as a way to also use it as your agent and your auditioning tool.
Because too, one of the other episodes we talked about how people post jobs that are open online and everything. So if you're connected with a lot of these people that do the castings, they're gonna post when they need extras or when they need a certain role filled and all. And if you can fill that role, then you know the audition's there. Where if you weren't connected with them online, you might never have ever seen that post saying that they're looking for certain types of people to fill roles.
Mm-hmm. I was looking up some stats, and so unlike LinkedIn, Instagram is where people search for models and actors. That's where they actually do more of the research. They say, according to modeling agencies like IGM and Wilhelmina, they said 81% of users on Instagram use that platform to research modeling talent and acting talent. And a lot of times, this is where people can get their first audition. So keeping that consistent presence online, showing that you're still active, new projects, everything, whether it's was a portfolio project or paid project, just something that keeps your presence.
That's another thing I was going to say too, with what you post on social media too. Jobs are looking. People are looking at what you're posting. So if you want to have a certain image and everything, make sure you're posting that image and all and whatnot. Because if you're posting some crazy stuff over here and all that might not vibe with what people are looking for to hire somebody, they might pass you over because of something they saw and all on your.
You reminded me of a social media. There's a social media content creator I follow. I believe his name is Brad, but he used to go by the name Scumbag Dad. And yeah, right. But the reason he changed his name is because he was doing great content. It's hilarious, and he was calling out people who do kindness content, because he's just like, you guys are preying on people's bad things in people's lives to make content and everything. So he would make fun of that and stuff. But there's a lot of brands and stuff that wanted to hire him, but they just couldn't get past the fact that his Instagram handle was called Scumbag Dad. So think of it like this: Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola has just partnered with Scumbag Dad. No, they can't. So he changed his name, rebranded himself. Now he said he's become more successful because now he doesn't come off as a scumbag.
Yeah. So it's like those little things, like a name, something you posted, even could be the clothes you were wearing or something and something. So just always be mindful of that, especially when you're using these platforms for business and for potential work in the future, that If people can find it, it's probably going to be found online. So
Yeah.
if you don't want people seeing certain things, don't post it online.
Rule numero uno. If you don't want people to know about it, do not put it on the internet. Nothing ever leaves the internet. Because there's the surface web, then there's the underweb. And anything that gets on the web eventually ends up in the underweb. And I don't know if anything gets out.
No idea.
I have no idea either. But no, this was great. I had a lot of time talking about our how we networked and became an item, and we got some great information, a little bit of stats, and just some great tips. So I hope everybody was really able to grab on and enjoy this little discussion that we had. Yeah.
Tell us a story about networking, how it could be something funny, something impactful. Just let us know how networking then affected you in some small way like this as well.
Yeah. Check us out at 23journeyscreative.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at 23journeyscreative. I am your host, Thato Datsun, with my lovely wife that I met at a modeling shoot, Naomi.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace.